Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish.Academy. This is episode 274, is it? Sometimes I lose track of the episodes. Today we're talking about extreme ownership and why everything is my fault. So you've heard me talk about this book before, but if you haven't read it, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. It's how the U.S. Navy SEALs lead and win. I loved it, and this got me to look at my life, my business, every interaction in a completely different way. I own everything that happens to me. I am responsible 100% for everything that happens to me. One thing I teach in my boot camps is I always say, hey, what's your role in this? Or when something happens to me, I say, what's my role in this? Let me give you two really quick examples. One is I'm down here in Deep Creek for the week working, and my family's at home, obviously, and I get a call the very first night I'm here that my daughter Ella is not feeling well. And I'm thinking, wow, that's strange. She's sleeping a lot, but she's in public school, and kids are gross. Anyway, then she proceeds to tell me that she can't walk on her ankle, and she's super tired, and her ankle is really red and swollen, and she can't move it, and it's stiff. Oh, and by the way, she cut her leg last week shaving, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she has an infection. She has a very serious infection, because all of these symptoms are telling me that. I am no MD, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out there's a problem. So I'm talking with my husband. He's obviously getting her to MedExpress to get that checked out. And yeah, indeed, okay, so she cut her ankle shaving last week, and it was fine, but it got a really, really bad infection, and they have put her on antibiotics, and they have marked her skin and told my husband to watch it extremely carefully because she may have to go to the ER to get an IV of antibiotics. These infections, if they get into the bloodstream, they can be very serious. Okay, and I'm away from home, and of course I'm worried about her, and I think to myself, what's my role in this? Okay, so you're thinking, or you should be thinking, well, she cut her leg shaving, and then she gets an infection. How could this possibly be your fault? How could this possibly be my fault? Everything is my fault. 100% ownership and responsibility for everything. And I can trace this backwards and prove it to you. Okay, I thought to myself, have I talked to her about the importance of changing your razor blade often? Negative. Have not. All right, that's my fault. It turns out she was using a new razor, so that wasn't it. But okay, have I talked to her about the importance or taught her how to properly clean a wound and clear of infection? Nope. No, I haven't done that. Okay, so far, I have not taught her how to properly use a razor or care for them. I have not taught her how to care for a wound so that it doesn't get infected. I haven't taught her anything. What kind of mom am I? So this infection, hi Donald, this infection is 100% my fault. I own it. I could have prevented it. This didn't have to happen. I own it. My fault. Okay, now, let me be clear here. I'm not going to lay around and wallow in misery about, oh, it's my fault. I can't believe I did that. False. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get better next time, and I'm going to teach her things that she needs to know in order to prevent this from happening in the future. I use it as fuel. I use it to become a better person. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday, and the only way I can do that is to own everything that happens to me in every single situation, even if it doesn't appear like it's my fault. It is, because I could have prevented it. I could have prevented this whole thing. Now play this out. She has to miss 3 days of school because of this very serious infection, which is devastating to her. She loves school, she's very academic, and she's very focused on her studies. Okay, this could impact her grades, which could impact her self-esteem, could potentially impact her college, her career. I mean, this could impact a lot of things, all because I'm lazy and I didn't teach her how to properly care for her razors or a cut. Yeah, it's true. I could do it. Again, not beating myself up about it, not using it to feel guilty. That's an incredibly unproductive emotion, but using it to get better and to do better. Okay, that's one example. Another example is a few years ago, and by the way, this is my worst nightmare. We pulled into a bride's house for a wedding, big wedding day. We pulled in, it's the beginning of the wedding day. We get out of the car, I have a flat tire. And I'm like, I looked at Craig and I said, fix it. And I walked away. As I'm walking away into the bride's home to photograph her getting ready, I am already planning multiple scenarios out in my head and how to attack it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if he gets it fixed, great, no problem. But if he doesn't, I'm just going to hop in the limo or the party bus with the bridal party with all of my gear, and I'll be with them all day, and I'll worry about the car later. So I'm always mapping out how I do a lot of mental mapping, how I can make this a success. Okay, so in my mind, it's handled. It's taken care of. Whether he fixes it or not, it's taken care of. Turns out he was able to fix it, and all was well. But then I'm thinking, what's my role in this? I caused that flat tire. Yeah, I did. You know how I caused that flat tire? About 6 months prior to that flat tire, my car gave me a warning to check my tire pressure. My car is fancy. It says, check your tire pressure is low, but it doesn't tell me which tire, so I didn't know. So I checked the tire pressure. All the tires were filled properly, so we're good. But that warning kept coming on, and it kept coming on, and it kept coming on. And I called the car dealership, and they said, you know what, you probably have a faulty gauge. So there's gauges in each one of the tires. That gauge is probably faulty. It's giving you that faulty reading. If you check the tires and they are inflated properly, then that's what's happening. Next time you have your car in, just have that gauge replaced or looked at. No problem. So I was ignoring the warning on my dashboard for about 6 months. I would check my tires periodically, but they were okay. I knew it was a faulty gauge, so I couldn't trust the warnings, whatever. All right, so when they get the tire to repair it and they take it apart, they pull out a faulty gauge that had died and was faulty, and guess what? Corroded. Oh man, and then caused a flat tire. What? 100% my fault. What should I have done? Immediately, when that gauge wasn't working, I should have taken the car in, got the gauge replaced, and I never would have had that flat tire. 100% my fault. If you think of an area where something happened to you and you were truly a victim, something happened and you were a victim, then you were victimized, but you were not a victim because you always have a role in it and you always have a way out. You're always in control. Oh, this is going to get deep and heavy. I'm not going to get it. I wanted to give you those two examples of how I took a situation and figured out my role in it so that it wouldn't happen again. I could improve it. If you ever want to talk to me about how I view my role in my brother's death, my brother died in a motorcycle accident when he was 26 years old. I was 19. And I believe that I have some responsibility or culpability in that. And if you want to go down that path, you'll have to talk to me privately because that's a little bit hard for me to talk about on a live video. But I do believe I had a role in it. And I do believe that there's something I maybe could have done to prevent it. I don't know. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to beat myself up. That is not the point. If that's what you're thinking or feeling, you are missing the point. The point is, if I can identify my role in every situation, I can take control and correct it, and I can stop casting blame about this happens to me and this happens to me. I can fix it because I'm in control. When you cast blame, what you're saying is I have no control over that situation. So whatever happens, it just happens. Whatever happens, it happens. False. You're always in control. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.